Right, stand up and be counted. We're looking at the census process. Officially, Census 2022 kicks off tomorrow. But this is about getting a snapshot of where people are at midnight tonight. So enumerators are already out and about speaking to the homeless as they go to sleep, we heard. They will be getting information from prisons. We've taken you to a couple of prisons. And also, they want to record people in transit, who's here from foreign countries, who's leaving, who's coming in. What does it look like at OR Tambo International Airport? That is where we find our reporter, Mbalenhle Mthethwa. Mbalenhle, thank you for being with us. What activity is taking place at OR Tambo tonight?
Good evening, Francis. Well, we are just hours away from the official start of that night count. We understand that the program is meant to start at 8 p.m. today, where enumerators will be crisscrossing Gauteng and the rest of the country, really, just trying to count all of the homeless people and those who are in transit, who are going to be traveling. They're not only going to stop there, they're also going to go into the hospitals to count those people. We understand that there is a set number of days for the counting to take place, and they're just trying to make sure that no one is left behind. We understand that it starts tomorrow on the 3rd of February until the 28th of February, a very short period really if you're trying to count everyone and absolutely everyone within our borders. But we understand that this is all in an effort to get a better sense of the demographics and also to assist policymakers in their policy. A little bit earlier on today, we may have heard the Statistician General Mbalenhle talking about the fact that the population, and actually estimating that the population may have grown by almost 3.5 million rand since the last census. And he also just warned and alerted South Africans to the fact that the South African economy hasn't quite grown in leaps and bounds and has not grown to meet the needs of the growing population in South Africa. I'm actually not alone. I'm joined by one Stats SA official. He is the Gauteng provincial head, who's going to give us a sense of the program and also just elaborate on some of the comments that were made by the Statistician General a little bit earlier on. Thank you so much for speaking to us, Thabo Manchidi. We appreciate having you on the program with us. Talk to us about what the Statistician General spoke about a little bit earlier on, the fact that the economy hasn't quite grown as much as the economy, and to meet the needs, how do we then try to assist through census, assist policymakers to come up with policy and fast-track service delivery to South Africans through the census?
Thank you, Mbali. And I would like to say to you, one of the areas that we need to look into as South Africans is manufacturing. And we need to also look at areas where there was policy formulation, but there were challenges on policy implementation. And the census is going to give us foundational information. The data that is going to be gathered from the census is not gathered anywhere in the country. It gives us small area statistics for anyone who wants to be an entrepreneur, for any businesses to set up camp where they think there will be customers for their products. And when we look at the economy, Mbali, you'll realize that due to COVID, obviously, but there's high unemployment, and census is going to also give us areas where there's the highest of unemployment, so that policymakers can target those areas for employment and ensure that there's business growth in terms of business development around those areas, and ensure that there's also skills development in those areas for them to be able to perform functions that will help products that could be used not only in South Africa but across the world.
Okay. Now, we understand that, COVID-19, you spoke about COVID-19 and its impact on the economy. We understand that, it's also somewhat exacerbated the issue of inequality and so on. And these are some of the things that you will be trying to look into through the census and just try to, get a sense of the true numbers on the ground.
Yes. Demographic information is important. Employment and unemployment information is going to be critical. Economic activity is going to be critical also, and we are going to look at the household structure of South Africa. There are indigent households. We need to look at that for development, and we need to look also on how the COVID environment has impacted the lives of South Africans. We know that they are registered and accumulated statistics from the Department of Health, which shows a certain increase in death due to the COVID environment. That will be captured, because if you look at the mortality and rates in South Africa in terms of that period, that will indicate to you the number of deaths that we experienced during the COVID environment.
And now talk to us about the reception. I mean, I know that the program is going to officially launch at 8 today, and we're yet going to talk about, what exactly you hope to achieve today and just get a sense of that. But talk to us about on Monday you were out crisscrossing the streets of Diepsloot, speaking to the people there. Talk to us about the reception from the people, because that was an initiative that was intended to raise awareness and also to encourage people to open their doors when officials and enumerators really come along to do the counting. Talk to us about that.
The field workers that would be crisscrossing and traversing the streams and the roads and the areas in our country would have an identity number. They would have a unique number, and they can be verified using your own smartphone in your area, just to make sure that you do not allow people who are not from us. They are vetted, they are trained, and they would make sure that all protocols of COVID are covered and are adhered to. They also are going to be coming to our houses and soliciting information at most 30 minutes, depending on household size. But I would like South Africans just to open their doors and open their houses for them to collect information. And you can verify them on our website. Fieldwork verification tool is available for you to check the ID number and the face of the person who will be interviewing you. And Mbali, you should also understand that one of the things that we have done, we've increased the online registration to the 5th of February, simply because we've realized that many might not have understood the advantages of online household registration. We are asking South Africans, by reducing the burden of us bringing a field worker into their doorstep, and
yes. Certainly. I'm really sorry. I've just been told that we're almost out of time, and I really want to ask this question about it being a criminal offense. If someone out there decides that they don't want to be counted and actually chases away the enumerators, what sort of repercussions do they face in the event of that happening?
6 months imprisonment, or 10,000 fine, or both, depending on the gravity of the offense, and it's covered by the Statistics Act. And we urge that, unlike other institutions, we foster for relationships with households, because we are continuously collecting data from households, businesses, and other institutions. But we would like South Africans just to open up and understand that this is information that is going to let us account for decisions that were made and policies that might be right or might be wrong. And the statistics would also help us to question certain decisions and certain areas of development.
Okay, thank you so much for speaking to us. There you have it. That is the provincial Gauteng head at Statistics South Africa, just talking to us about the enumerators who will be making their way to our homes to try and count us, and also just so that they can get a sense of how the COVID-19 pandemic has actually impacted the livelihoods and some household structures. You've heard him talking about the increase in the number of deaths, and also just talking about how getting these demographics will assist with regards to policymakers coming up with policy rather that does assist in certain areas, and also just talking about the economic impact that COVID-19 has had and the joblessness rate in the country. It's back to you in studio.
Thank you very much, Mbalenhle Mthethwa at the OR Tambo International Airport. And if you're interested in that online registration, which sounds like a win-win if you don't want to be counted in person, and it's better for Stats SA, he was saying, getcounted.statssa.gov.